Well, we've hit May 16th, 17th of 2017.
Like
there have been 17 free agent quarterbacks signed, not named Colin Kaepernick, but he might find a home. It turns out that Colin Kaepernick and Robert Griffin III are two of the remaining names that you've heard of, because there are other players that play quarterback that you've never heard of, I promise. And they might be signing, possibly, according to Pete Carroll, with the Seattle Seahawks. Now, look, you mentioned Kaepernick and it brings up a conversation. I just wanted to show you the quote from Pete Carroll first and the free agent quarterback signed afterwards. We're looking at everybody, we really are. We've been tracking everything that's going on. We've got cap and roster issues and stuff like that that we're still trying to manage properly, but quite frankly, yes, we are looking at all those guys, and he was referring to Griffin and Colin Kaepernick. And then, of course, everyone wants to know what quarterbacks have been signed. Now, JR, if you're running a football team, you really don't want any of these guys.
I don't know what you're talking about.
How many of these guys have played for the Rams? Just that, how many of you have you seen? Has Chase Daniel played for the Rams? Case Keenum's played for the Rams.
Case Keenum, Nick. No, he wasn't in the switch.
Nick, just by his first name, I had no idea who you were talking about.
I'm looking at him. He wasn't in the toss-up, the back and forth of the same guys. But the thing is, you never go wrong with Mark Sanchez, mostly because he's a USC Trojan, and Trojans prepare professionals. That's all I have to say. We're talking about Pete Carroll, who's running now one of the better organizations in football. I mean, look what he did. He was once Mark Sanchez's coach. I'm just saying.
Oh, that actually, yeah, that's true. That's true.
But he didn't take him because I think he knows.
Because he knew. Look, here's the statement that I'm gonna make. If you think Colin Kaepernick is outright better than all of those quarterbacks, I think you might be crazy. But if you think Colin Kaepernick is outright worse than all those quarterbacks, you don't know enough. Blaine Gabbert was replaced by Colin Kaepernick, and it's obvious. It's very, very obvious that NFL GMs don't want to deal with whatever they think Kaepernick brings along with him, whatever conversation that he brings along with him. What makes sense for the Seahawks here is, for one, there was about 12 of them who stood with, or whatever it is, sat with Kaepernick and protested. Pete Carroll is the most open player, friendly coach in the NFL. Russell Wilson is a guy who gets out of the pocket and is not necessarily encouraged to do it, but is given some freedom in that way. Colin Kaepernick kind of knows that system. And in terms of having a backup, I just don't understand as to why you really want somebody like Case Keenum under center. Kaepernick finished with 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He still can get it done with his legs. He's 29, so he's a lot younger than most of those guys. He doesn't cost that much money. So
it's a system-based thing. So
if you took RG3 over Kaepernick, I think you're insane. Like, RG3 has no body parts left to play with. It's like signing Derrick Rose over any of Kyle Lowry.
Right.
Well, he got injured too.
But at least it's kind of the beginnings of it with Kyle Lowry. You're talking about the injuries. Like, we've seen Derrick Rose go through multiple ones. He has a history. So it's a system thing, right? So if no one is expecting it. But if Russell Wilson goes down, then at least the rest of your players are playing in a system. You don't want a completely different type of quarterback to come and get inserted and you change everything you're doing. Maybe it's an important game, maybe it's an important part of the season. Maybe you just want to have different looks sometime and you don't want to have a completely different kind of quarterback. So either one of these guys, I see why they're the two that seem to be the finalists in this lotto for a backup.
There's also nobody else.
True.
Like, who else? JR, are you in shape? Would you like to go play quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks?
Even if I was in shape without this, then I would go and get broken. So no, it doesn't make any sense. So
it's fine. They protect you now. You have a decent you have no O-line.
So I just want to, it's the one thing about the whole blacklisting of Colin Kaepernick that has happened, which is the reason why all these quarterbacks that aren't as good as he is, or don't have as much of a history of even success that he's had in the past, you forget he played in the Super Bowl. If you're blacklisting the guy, just be honest. Just say it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not okay in my opinion, but it's okay to be honest. Just don't say, oh, no, it has nothing to do with it, when it's obvious that that has everything to do with it. Say it, and because you're afraid of fans maybe not liking you or supporting your team because of a player that you add to your roster, if you're afraid of that, say, hey, fans, I'm with you. I'm not going to sign this guy because I'm going to agree with you that I don't like his political stances, his true statements about the state of our society and policing in our country. If you don't like it, just say it and it's cool, and you'll probably get more fans. What's disingenuous and disappointing is when people act like that's not what's happening.
Well, I like the point of being like, if they were on it, if a GM came out and said, look, we want Blaine Gabbert over Kaepernick because we don't want to have to answer questions or bring too much attention to something that we're trying to stay out of, right? If that was the case, I think that's the point you're trying to make. If that was the case, sure. At least they're saying they're being honest. But like the thing that just digs at me is that if Colin Kaepernick was 3 times better than he is, or 3% better than he was, this wouldn't be a conversation. And the question also is, if he came in to the Seattle Seahawks organization or any NFL team, the hypocrisy is that if he led them to a game-winning drive, people would shut up. They'd say, oh, God, he's good again.
Yeah, look,
he's good at playing football.
I forgot what he did last year that I was so upset about. And number 2, no, I don't know, maybe on a lower level that I didn't hear about, how many domestic violence cases, I don't know, out in the club cases, beatings, aggression issues have happened in the past several years with players in the NFL, and they go through all of these legal proceedings and all this news, and then come free agency signing time or time to get traded and contract season comes, we're not worried about it anymore. Somehow we forgot about it. It's another indication of our society. We're like, oh, how dare you offend me and not listen to me when I tell you what to do and what to say, boy. But then when they beat on someone else who you don't apparently give a shit about, then after that happens, it's okay for them to re-sign with your team as long as they get those sacks, make those completions, and catch those damn balls.
Right, but that's always been a hypocrisy in sports, by the way. If you're good at your sport, or if you're transcendently good at your sport, right? Michael Jordan, like, I mean, what is it Neil Brennan says, the stand-up comedian Neil Brennan, says like, if LeBron James at this point in his career just like murdered an old woman crossing the street, the people would look at him and go, well, we all talk about killing the old lady crossing the street, but LeBron had the balls to do it. And he'd step back on the court. Yeah. Like,
but that's even with LeBron, who brings him results. Colin Kaepernick, of course, had some down years and didn't look like the same guy that he was before.
The San Francisco 49ers entire organization went to complete dumpster fire, trash canville.
Absolutely.
Like,
but they can blame that one guy because it makes them feel better about how he offended them with the political
stance. To be fair, also, like the Jim Harbaugh defense was a lot of the reason that Kaepernick was successful. He didn't need to do that much, which what organization does that kind of sound like? The Seattle Seahawks. When they play the top of their defensive game.
Baltimore Ravens in the past. Who was the quarterback that won the Super Bowl for the Baltimore? I remember, do you? Just like 5 seconds, see if you remember his name.
Joe Flacco? Is that who you're talking about? Trent Dilfer?
Trent Dilfer. No one remembers that Trent Dilfer is a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
He came against the New York Giants, JR.
No one remembers that.
Yeah, because it was Ray Lewis and who else? Terrell was not there. Was it Suggs?
I think Suggs was there.
Suggs still playing in the NFL today?
Should be.
15 years?
Suggs is a beast.
T-Sizzle.
Ball so hard, you.
That's right. Is he? Wow. Sam Darnold gonna come play for the LA Rams next year. 16-0. Super Bowl champions.
LA Rams / USC Trojans.
All right, comment below, like, favorite, subscribe. Why is it? I should say.
Who you got? RG3 or Kaepernick? Who you want? Broken knees or broken hearts of the fans?